Well, hey there, everyone. It's Mrs. Estero here with another First Chapter Friday. As usual, I'm really excited to bring you the book that I've selected for you. The month of April is National Poetry Month, so I decided to pick a few things for you this month that are books in verse. A book in verse is written in a series of poems, but it tells a story the regular way a regular book does. Books that I would call a regular book are written in what we call prose, which is just regular writing. But books in verse are written a little bit differently, and you'll see that the pages have a lot less words, and they move along quickly, and they usually have a great rhythm to them. The book that I've selected for you for National Poetry Month is Starfish by Lisa Fipps. You are going to love this book. If you haven't heard of it, I'm really excited to bring it to you. And if you have heard of it and you haven't committed to reading it, now is the time. Okay? Before we get started, I'd like to make sure that you have your First Chapter Friday sheet. It is free. I will be sure to link it in the video description. I would print out a bunch of these and tape them into your reader's notebook. And anytime you hear about another book, you can just refer back to all of your notes that you've taken. Okay, so I'll be sure to link that for you. Let's hear a little bit about our book, Starfish, before we get started. I'm going to read from the inside of the book jacket. Ever since she wore a whale swimsuit and made a big splash at her 5th birthday party, Ellie's been bullied about her weight. To cope, she tries to live by her list of fat girl rules, which are all about not standing out. And she's found a haven in her swimming pool where she feels weightless in a fat-obsessed world. In the water, she can stretch out like a starfish and take up all the space she wants. Ellie finds an ally in her new neighbor, Catalina, a girl who refreshingly doesn't judge, and in her new therapist, a woman who knows how to laugh at the right things. With these good people buoying Ellie up, it's a lot easier to face the bullies and Starfish in real life by unapologetically being her own fabulous self. All right, let's take a listen to Starfish. I love the cover art. Because these verses are very short, I'm going to be reading a bunch of them to you. I know this is First Chapter Friday, but very short, not regular chapters, so I'm going to read a bunch of them to you. The first one is called For Just a While. I step down into the pool. The water is bathwater warm, but feels cool. Compared to the blistering hot air, kick, glide, stroke, glide, side to side and back again, dive under the surface, soar to the top, arch my back, flip, flop. As soon as I slip into the pool, I am weightless, limitless, just for a while. A good idea, too, to listen to the different poetic devices, things like rhyming and similes and personification and onomatopoeia. You're going to hear a lot of it. The next one is called Name Calling. Eliana Elizabeth Montgomery Hofstein. That's my name. My bestie Viv and my parents call me Ellie or Elle. But most people call me Flash or some synonym for whale. Cannonball into a pool, drenching everyone, and wear a whale swimsuit to your under-the-sea birthday party when you're a chubby kid who grows up to be a fat tween. No one will ever let you live it down. Ever. Next one, Flash is born. Now, whenever I swim, I use the steps to ease into the water, careful not to make waves because the memory of my pool party plays in my head like a video on a loop. It was my 5th birthday. I wanted to be the first one in, so I ran to the edge and leapt into the air and tucked my knees into my chest. Water sprayed up as I sank down. I bobbed to the surface, expecting cheers for the splashiest cannonball ever. That didn't happen. Splash spawned a tsunami, my sister and I shouted. She's almost emptied the pool, my brother Liam chimed in. I dove under, drowning my tears. I wish I could tell everyone how they made me feel that day, humiliated, angry, deeply sad. But every time I try to stand up for myself, the words get stuck in my throat, like a giant glob of peanut butter. Besides, if they even listen, they just snap back. If you don't like being teased, lose weight. Fat girl rules. Some girls my age fill diaries with dreams and private thoughts. Mine has a list of fat girl rules. You find out what these unspoken rules are when you break them and suffer the consequences. Fat girl rules I learned are at 5. No cannonballs, no splashing, no making waves. You don't deserve to be seen or heard, to take up room, to be noticed. Make yourself small. It makes me very sad. You're going to see her work through with this, though, during the book. What, why, who, how, and when is our next one. The first fat girl rule you learn hurts the most. There's some alliteration coming up. A startling, scorpion, stinging soul slap. Something's changed, but you don't know what. You replay the moment in your mind from every possible angle, trying to understand why the rules exist, and who came up with them and how. How does anyone have the right to tell you how to live just because of your weight? Mostly, you remember the smack of the change. One minute you were like everybody else, playing around, enjoying life, and then, with the flip of an unseen cosmic switch, you are the fat girl, stumbling, trying to regain your balance. Acting as if you know what you're doing, like when you used to play dress up and tried to walk in high-heeled shoes. Okay, the next one is called The Gift. Every time I see a pudgy preschooler, I want to hand her my list, like the answer sheet for a test, to spare her the pain of learning the rules firsthand. But instead, I give each girl the gift of more days, weeks, and months of a normal life, whatever that is. Okay, we're going to do 2 more. This one is called Belly's Dancing. Viv's mom caught her dad with another woman and said Texas wasn't big enough for the 3 of them. So now my best friend has to move to Indiana. In my backyard, we live streamed the Latin Musical Festival or an outdoor screen as part of her going away party. Viv starts belly dancing like she learned in a class at the Dallas Public Library, where her mom was a librarian. I follow her lead, and our arms morph into snakes and our hips figure 8. My dog Gigi, a pug, runs circles around us as we sing at the top of our lungs along with the bands and dance with complete abandon, like you do when you're alone in your room, trying out some new moves or making up some of your own. Except it turns out we're not alone. The New Neighbor. Mid-twirl, I open my eyes to see a girl's head pop up over the fence, then disappear and reappear. This trampoline girl saw me shake parts of me I didn't even know I had. What do you think you're doing? I stopped dancing so fast I about give myself whiplash. I see her head again. I heard Dias de Vertos, she says so quickly it's like one word. She disappears and reappears. Couldn't help myself. In a flash, she climbs over the fence and lands in front of me. I'm Catalina Rodriguez. And I'm going to stop there. I hope that you enjoyed hearing the beginning of the book Starfish. It does get a little bit involved with her life and how she works through things. And I just know that this book is going to really tear at your heartstrings. And I know that you're going to be cheering for Ellie as she tries to come to a point of self-acceptance. So I hope you will check it out at your library. My library actually had a copy of this, so I was able to just go in. It was on the shelf. I grabbed it. It seems to be a pretty popular pick. So I hope that you will consider checking it out. If you have anything that you would like me to feature on my First Chapter Friday channel, please drop me a note in the comments and I will do my best to make it happen. I would also love it if you would subscribe to my channel so that you don't miss any of my new picks. Until then, happy reading, and I'll see you next Friday.